Imagine a typical Friday evening. It's already 5:30 p.m., and the week has completely drained you. You're on your way home, whether in a car or on a train, but mentally, you're empty. You don't even have the energy for simple decisions. The thought of cooking feels harder than climbing a mountain. You open a food delivery app just to close the question quickly and deal with it later. You order food, pizza, noodles, or a burger. With delivery, it comes out to about $45. At home, you open a drink, collapse on the couch, and turn on a TV series. Not because you really want to watch it, but to switch off. In your head, you hear the justification, I deserve this, but in reality, this isn't just an expense, it's a reaction to exhaustion. The truth is, you didn't just spend $45. Behind that order lies a whole chain of hidden costs, fuel, work clothes, the stress that led to the delivery. These invisible expenses gradually eat away at your income, reducing its real value much more than it seems at first glance. You think you earn $30 per hour, but if you break everything down in detail, that number drops sharply after accounting for all expenses and time invested. Your real hourly income might be closer to $4 to $10. This isn't a feeling. It's simple math that most people never bother to calculate. The problem starts with a basic mistake. People are taught to look at their salary as the final result. But in business, no one evaluates income without subtracting expenses. If a company makes $1 million but spends more than that, it's operating at a loss. The same thing happens with personal income. Work is not only about income. It also comes with the costs of the process itself. You pay for the opportunity to work. This includes transportation, appearance, meals, and countless small things. These expenses are often ignored, yet they are exactly what reduces your real earnings. Let's start with taxes. Before the money even reaches you, a portion is already taken. Your salary shrinks automatically. That's obvious, but it's only the first layer. Next come less visible, but no less significant losses. The next factor is commuting. Both time and money are spent on getting to and from work. A car requires fuel, maintenance, and insurance. Public transport means passes and tickets. These are regular expenses without which work is impossible. Yet almost no one counts them as part of the cost of labor. There's also appearance. Work demands that you meet certain standards. Clothes, shoes, grooming, all of this costs money. It's not a luxury. It's a requirement. In reality, it's an investment just to keep your job. There's another layer of expenses that almost no one accounts for. Professional appearance. Your job requires you to meet expectations, proper clothing, shoes, and personal grooming. This isn't a one-time purchase, but a constant cycle of updates. You're not paying for style. You're paying for the right to be taken seriously. The irony is that these expenses don't directly increase your income, but without them, you risk losing it. That's why they become an obligatory part of the true cost of your labor. Then comes the convenience effect. When you're short on time and energy, you start buying solutions. Coffee on the go, takeout food, services that save you a few minutes. It seems like small things, but together they create a steady flow of money leaving your pocket. These expenses appear not because you want them, but because work drains your resources, leaving you with only quick and expensive options. The most invisible, yet most expensive type of expense is emotional. These are the purchases you make to recover: a drink at the bar after work, spontaneous shopping, short trips. It's an attempt to compensate for fatigue and stress. These expenses aren't planned, but they repeat again and again, essentially. You're paying to endure the very rhythm you help maintain. When you add up all the categories, taxes, commuting, appearance, convenience, and emotional spending, the real picture changes dramatically. Your nominal salary starts to look like an illusion. Money passes through you but doesn't stay. The gap between what you earn and what actually belongs. You become surprisingly large. But money is only half of the equation. The second part is time. Formally, you work 40 hours a week. That's the number in your contract. However, real involvement in work begins long before you arrive at the office and ends much later after you leave. These hours aren't recorded, but they shape your actual workload. Morning preparations, commuting, getting ready, all of this is time you give to work for free in the evening. There's recovery. You can't immediately start living your own life because you first need to. Switch off from work mode. This is the invisible part of labor that isn't paid for, but without which you couldn't perform your duties. When you add it all up, it becomes clear work doesn't take 40 hours. It takes closer to 60. This is no longer just employment. It consumes almost your entire active day. And when you calculate using this real number, it becomes obvious that the true cost of your time is much higher than it seems, while the return is much lower. Now comes the key moment. You divide your real income by the real number of hours, and you get a completely different figure. It can be 2 or even 3 times lower than you expected. This is the moment when the illusion of a high salary begins to crumble under simple mathematics. Sometimes the result is surprising. A person with a good job ends up earning less per hour than someone with a simple, low-level position. The reason is the absence of hidden expenses and lower time commitment. A simple job can turn out to be more efficient than a complex one in terms of real net income. This is how a closed cycle is formed. You work to maintain a lifestyle that is necessary for the job itself. It's like running on a treadmill. There's effort, there's a sense of movement, but no real progress. The system relies on you not calculating the real numbers. As soon as you understand the real cost of your time, your perception of purchases changes. Price stops being just a number. It turns into hours of your life. This shifts your thinking. Before every purchase, you start asking yourself a different question. For example, a $100 item is no longer just a purchase. It's 8 to 10 hours of your life. That's a full workday. And when you look at buying through this lens, many desires lose their appeal. Sometimes even a raise doesn't improve this situation. Income grows, but expenses grow faster. More work means more convenience purchases, more stress, and more compensatory spending as a result. The net benefit decreases despite the higher salary number. There's another important factor: opportunity cost. Money spent today could be working for you in the future. Even small daily expenses can turn into significant amounts over time when compound interest is taken into account. The system only works because you don't calculate. Fatigue prevents analysis. You make decisions automatically without checking the consequences. This creates an illusion of stability, while in reality, your efficiency is gradually declining. The solution is not in drastic changes, but in optimization. Cutting unnecessary expenses and time can give you more than simply increasing your income. Small changes in everyday life can significantly improve the final picture. The main shift is in mindset. Start treating your life like a business. What matters is not how much you earn, but how much remains and how much time you keep for yourself. Freedom appears where a stable gap is created between income and expenses.